The number one reason why you're struggling to convert calls into listings is because you're using generic opening lines that sound like every other agent. And I know because after 100,000 cold calls and over $10 million in commissions, I figured out exactly what works. In this video, I'm going to show you the 10-second intro that flips strangers into clients without you needing to double your call volume. But first, let's talk about the real objective of every call, and it's not what you think. The reason most scripts aren't working for you is because they don't line up with who you are as a person, so it feels awkward. You want the best for your prospects, but the script your coach or broker gave you has you trying to force appointments and hard close people who aren't ready yet. That's why your number one objective on any call is not to force an appointment if an appointment isn't the next logical step in the process for them. We don't want them labeling us as a salesperson. We want them to see us as an interesting human. And the best way to become interesting is to be genuinely interested in them. We want to get them comfortable enough with us so that they open up and tell us everything they want to do and why, so that you can help them do it. That's the entire game that coaches won't tell you, brokers won't tell you. Why? Because they're just trying to get you to do deals and force appointments, which is why I break the rules on cold calls. Rules that most coaches will tell you never to break. Every sales trainer and coach will say, do not ask your prospects how they're doing. It's fake. It kills momentum. They're wrong. When you ask it like a robot, yes, it's terrible. When you don't actually care how they're doing, yeah, doesn't work. But when you drop it naturally, early, and connected to their name, it's a pattern interrupt. It feels neighborly, not pushy, not salesy, and it instantly lowers defenses. My first objective on a call is to understand how they are doing. How do I know where to go with the conversation if I don't understand how they are doing? I need that data. So, how do you make how are you doing work when everyone else makes it awkward? Here's the rhythm you need to copy to get them to open up in 10 seconds. I call this my 3-question intro. First, you confirm their name. As soon as they answer, you say, Mr. Johnson, and you say it in a question tone. Okay, it's personal, it disarms them. As soon as they say, yes, this is Mr. Johnson, you introduce yourself, followed by, how are you? Hey, Mr. Johnson, it's Ricky Caruth over here, whatever brokerage in whatever area. How you doing today? I really love to say what area I'm in. It creates instant credibility because they could think I'm a telemarketer in, someone in a different country or 5 states away. So now here I've identified myself, my company, that I am here right down the road from you. How are you doing today? Now, notice my tone. Now I've identified myself and then I've softened immediately into how you doing today? The third question, I mirror that with a quick line of just pure connection. As soon as they say how they're doing, most of the time they're doing great, then I say, great. Me too. I'm enjoying the day. Isn't it gorgeous? I like to say a statement and a question. It can be anything. Now, I just plugged the weather in here because everybody can relate to the weather. I've had, at this point of the call, like I've went on for, 5, 10, 15 minutes about the weather before I even get into what I'm calling about. Everybody can relate to the weather, but this can be about anything. Great. Me too. You guys getting ready for Thanksgiving? How was your Christmas? You guys ready for the new year? This extra little question that most agents skip over, this is the secret, right? For me to get them to open up, to get them to feel comfortable, because it makes you a neighbor, not a telemarketer. And every time I come out publicly sharing this 3-question intro, a lot of haters come out and just act like this is the worst thing, the most cringy thing in the world. And I'm telling you, It makes me incredibly comfortable to make calls. It would be cringeworthy for me to just jump right into the sales part of the call. I don't know about you, but that's how I am. Those jumping right into, the house or the listing or whatever, that's super cringeworthy to me. That doesn't line up with who I am as a person, and it certainly doesn't help my prospects open up to me. And trust me, I've made 100,000 cold calls. I made $10 million with this script, and not only me. Tens of thousands of agents have used this exact strategy to make millions. Okay. So it's a 3-question intro. Mr. Johnson, how are you? Isn't it gorgeous? Okay. 3 questions. Okay. And the secret is to actually care how they're doing. But listen, this isn't just a script, right, on a piece of paper for you to just read through and recite to your prospects, hoping that, something magical happens. All right, let me explain the deeper strategy here, because you still need to know how to use it to have a real conversation that establishes connection. A real conversation has back and forth. That back and forth creates rhythm and momentum in the conversation. And when there's momentum and rhythm, prospects relax. They relax right into the flow. And here's the key to that rhythm. This intro gives me 3 responses from them, right? Before I even get into the reason for my call. When they answer their name, when they answer how they're doing, when they respond to my weather question. After each question, I'm pausing. And I'm listening intently to each one of those answers, their tone, their mood, their pace. That's data. It gives me the information that I need to decide who I'm talking to and how I want to proceed when I pivot into the real estate part of the conversation. So this isn't a gimmick. This is the foundation of a real conversation. And I got so good at this that the moment that the prospect answered the phone when I was making calls, I knew exactly how the entire call was going to go just by how they answered the phone. Now, let me show you how to use this rhythm to slide into the real estate part without breaking that flow. I call this a transition. As soon as the weather part of the call is over, I quickly say, well, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but, and then I could go into anything. That's the transition. Okay. It can be used for any kind of lead source. Let's say it's an expired. You can say, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but I saw you were trying to sell this house on blank street, and I couldn't tell if it was on the market, off the market. And I was just wondering what's going on with that property. If it's a for sale by owner, hey, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but I see you're trying to sell your home by owner. I couldn't tell if it's still for sale or what's going on with the property. If it's circle prospecting, great. Look, I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but I see you're on Smith Street, and I didn't know if you guys had thought about getting into a brand new home. I got a builder right down the road that's trying to give these things away. If it's a Zillow or social media lead, normally a buyer. Well, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time today. I see we're looking at some homes online. Is there anything I could do to help you with that? So this 3-question intro is universal across all lead sources. And notice, still curious in the transition, still respectful, not pitching, just continuing the conversation that they're already comfortable having. And when you get this rhythm down, you'll work half as much and make twice as much. I've seen this story play over and over and over again. So I know what you're thinking, Ricky, if this is so great, why don't you just do this live and show us how great it actually is? Well, if you want to watch me use this exact intro live calling real prospects, join me at the next Set More Listing Appointments Challenge. You'll see real calls, real objections, and how I turn those conversations into closings. I'll put a link in the description for the registration, or you can go to setmorelistingappointments.com. I'll see you on the challenge. And until then, and until the next video, keep selling.